Sydney, Australia. I am your host, Brian Williams, here to bring you the inaugural 1983 Sydney to Melbourne Ultramarathon. Extreme endurance athletes from around the world have gathered here today to participate in this grueling and glorious 875-kilometer run where they will face heat, rain, and utter exhaustion. What does it take to participate at this extreme level of athleticism? Certainly courage to go out and do the seemingly impossible. Tenacity to endure the barrage of mental and physical challenges, and dedicated practice for peak performance. History will be made here this week, here in the land down under. It will be our privilege to guide you. Now down to the race. Hey, I need to speak to Brian Williams, sportscaster for the CBC. Hey, Brian, the gig the producer sent me on down here is a dud. How am I supposed to dig up stories for you to report on when he only wants me following the no-name athletes down here? I mean, come on. George Braden is here. He recently broke Australia's transcontinental ultramarathon record in just 47 days. Now there is an athlete I can write about. But hey, if you just want me covering sob stories, I got one for you. This morning, I met an old farmer before the race that I thought was just a lost fan. I mean, the guy was wearing work pants and had a pair of galoshes over his shoulder. But then when the race started, I saw him out there with a penny on, running with the pack. I don't mean running. I mean, the guy was shuffling and way, way behind the pack. So I thought, hey, this is my guy. So I walked up to catch up with him and I said, hey, mate, have you ever run in a race like this before? He said no. I asked him, why did you pick this race to start with? He told me, I had the week off. Finally asked him, why the galoshes? And he gave me his first reasonable answer. He said, it might rain this afternoon. Well, I gotta tell you, I'm a little impressed that he's willing to go out there and and embarrass himself. But no way he makes it through the first day, Brian. Hey, Brian, come over here. Hey, do you want to report on a Cinderella story? If you do, you better do it now before it's over. Remember that old farmer I told you about? Yeah, he keeps forgetting to sleep at night. All the other runners, the experienced ones who know what they're doing, they run hard for 18 hours. And then they sleep for 6 to get their energy up. Well, Gramps here doesn't get the memo, and he just keeps running all through the night. And of course, because he's so far behind all the other runners during the day, nobody notices they lost the lead position until the morning. Last night, I was impressed by how many kilometers he put on. So this morning, I caught a lift up to where he was running to ask him some questions. I asked, hey, how long are you planning on running for? He told me back home, he can't afford a tractor or horses. So if a bad storm is coming in, he might have to run for 2 or 3 days to gather all the sheep out of the hills. So he figures as long as he can keep thinking about those sheep, he figures he could go the whole time. At least that's what I think he said. He had to take his dentures out. They were chattering too much when he was running. So he's got grit, but he can't make it much farther, can he? I really should get around to remembering his name. It's an ironic antonym. Fast, slow, no. Old, young. Yes, that's it, young. Brian, I am telling you, after you report on this story, every reputable paper in the world will have this splashed over the front page of their sports section. The underdog has done it. Yes, Cliff Young, that's his name, the 61-year-old rookie, has just smashed ultramarathon records by finishing this race in just 5 days and 15 hours. The legendary George Braden? Yeah, He's still holding a strong second, but he's at least 10 hours behind. I had to claw my way through the crazy fans here in Melbourne to catch up with Cliff. I asked him, Cliff, how did you manage to keep your body moving for 5 days straight? You know what he told me? He just loves running. Back home, he runs every day, no matter the weather, even if he doesn't have sheep to herd. People in his town have always called him crazy when they see him shuffling over the green hills. Well, they're not laughing now, are they, Brian? Welcome back for one final time to our studio here at the International Broadcast Center. In my perspective, the events of this week have changed running forever. What the future will bring, what the human body is capable of. Money and politics have always had their place in sport, but the courage, tenacity, and persistence of an athlete who dreams and works can never be understated. A week ago, an unknown man named Cliff Young joined this race because he loved running. Now, today, we celebrate him as he has changed running forever. I'm your host, Brian Williams, wishing you a good night from Australia. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Braden.